Hello and welcome to another episode of Smart Money Millionaire. I'm West Cohan, certified financial planner, and today we're here to talk about how to get free money and how to grow your wealth. Specifically, we're going to be talking about appreciating and depreciating assets so you can learn how to be smarter with your own money. First, let's quickly define an asset. An asset is anything that has economic value that can be stored and transferred at a later date. Another way to think about it is an asset is anything that can be sold or transferred for money in the future. So for example, your phone, your car, your TV, those are all examples of assets. If you buy a grill to barbecue on, that's an asset. If you buy a grill for your mouth, that's also an asset. On the other hand, it's important to understand that whenever you're spending money, you're either spending it on an expense or you're investing in an asset. So an expense would be something like a movie ticket or an ice cream cone. In the event of a movie ticket, after the movie is over, that movie ticket no longer has any value. And with an ice cream cone, after you eat it or it melts, there's no value there anymore. So today, we're not going to be talking about expenses, we're going to be talking about assets. And the two main categories of assets are appreciating assets and depreciating assets. First, let's talk about depreciating assets. A depreciating asset is something that goes down in value after you buy it.
And it's gone.
What?
Example number one is a car. As anybody who's ever purchased a vehicle knows, cars are depreciating assets. In the event of purchasing a new car, the vehicle can appreciate over 10% as soon as you drive it off the lot, and it can depreciate over 20% within the first year of ownership. Now, the reason a car is a depreciating asset is because it's a machine that accumulates wear and tear over its life and eventually will decline and stop functioning altogether. So while buying a luxury vehicle such as a BMW or a Lexus can be fun and sexy, make sure that if you're thinking about buying a luxury vehicle, you know that you're really just buying an expensive toy. You're not making a profitable investment. The second example we want to talk about are electronics. Now, whether we're talking about a phone, a tablet, a computer, a toaster, a TV, these are all examples of depreciating assets. Similar to a car, electronics are machines that accumulate wear and tear and have a useful life, and they'll one day be dead and useless. However, in the case of electronics, you also have to keep in mind that since the rate of technological advancement is so fast in this digital age, old technology quickly becomes outdated. As the demand for old technology goes down, so does the price. So think about it. Nobody wants to buy an iPhone 3 when you can buy an iPhone 25 or whatever version we're on now. So unless you're using electronics to make money for a business, let's say, and it should be noted that I am using several pieces of technology to shoot this video right now, including an iPhone and this new lavalier mic. So if you're not using electronics for a business purpose, then you should be careful not to blow all of your dough on some fancy new gadget like the Phantom Reactor $3,500 Bluetooth speaker.
So I got two of them.
The third example we want to talk about for depreciating assets is cash. Now, while there are ways to put cash to work in a high yield savings account or a CD, if you have cash in your wallet or under your mattress or in a safe or at a big bank like Bank of America or Chase, you're likely earning 0%. If you have cash that's earning 0%, you're actually going to see a decline in your real purchasing power over time because of inflation. So, for example, in 1948, a McDonald's hamburger cost 15 cents. Today, that same hamburger costs $2.49. That's an increase of over 16 times what it originally cost. So if you put 15 cents under your mattress in 1948, you would not be able to buy a hamburger with it today. So be careful with cash, watch out for having too much of what we call lazy money, and watch out for the Hamburglar.
Today's subject, the Hamburglar.
Now let's talk about appreciating assets. An appreciating asset is one that goes up in value over time. Owning and appreciating assets is an absolute must for anyone who's serious about growing wealth or one day becoming a millionaire. It's so important that your money is working for you even while you're sleeping. So let's talk about three of the most notable examples of appreciating assets. Example number one, stocks. Now, as you probably already know, stocks only go up. In fact, the average return of the S&P 500 is 10% a year. So, really important that you understand that if you have an investment that's earning 10% a year, that investment is going to double in value every 7 years. So if you started with $50,000 today and it was earning 10% a year, in 20 years, that $50,000 would be worth over $336,000. That's a return of over 6 times your original investment. If you let that sucker grow for 40 years, you would have over $2.2 million, starting with just $50,000. That's a return of over 44 times on your original investment. So while money doesn't grow on trees, it sure as hell grows in the stock market. The second example that we want to talk about for appreciating assets is real estate. Similar to stocks, real estate is a great way to build wealth, and it's one of the best appreciating assets that you can own. So it's important to understand that when you purchase real estate, let's say you're buying a house, you're purchasing the dirt lot that the house sits on, and you're purchasing the physical house itself that's sitting on that lot. So it's important to understand that the physical house itself is actually a depreciating asset. So if you think about the drywall, the plumbing, the roof, the floors, those all accumulate wear and tear and go down in value over time. The reason that real estate can still be a strong appreciating asset is usually due to the dirt lot itself. And this is a super important point to understand. Location, location, location is super important when you're buying physical, tangible real estate. So while supply and demand is always going to be setting the price of real estate, you have to keep in mind that it's really tied to the dirt more so than the physical structure in many scenarios. So for example, if you own a piece of real estate in Times Square, New York City, that's basically guaranteed to continue appreciating over time because it's such a desirable location. It's a desirable location because it gets an insane amount of foot traffic and it's in America, in a big metropolitan city. So businesses are always going to want to own that real estate, either to lease it from you if you own it or to buy it from you outright, so that they can put a business there that will benefit from all of that foot traffic. Now, on the other hand, if you bought a piece of land in the middle of bumfuck nowhere in the Siberian tundra, or you bought a piece of real estate in the city that I grew up in, Bakersfield, California, you're not likely to see the same appreciation, and you might not see any appreciation at all. So when you're buying real estate, make sure you understand what type of real estate are you buying, what is the real value in that real estate, and always pay close attention to the location. I can tell you when I bought my first house, we were looking for a C property in an A neighborhood. That means we wanted an older, kind of banged up house that we could still afford, but we wanted it to be in the best possible location that we could possibly buy. And we're looking at things like safety and the school district and the other houses in the neighborhood to make sure that we were making a good investment. Now, the third example we want to talk about here for appreciating assets is actually you. That's right. The third appreciating asset we want to talk about today is investing in yourself. Now, while this is a bit unconventional, I am a firm believer that investing in yourself is a great way to spend your money. Whether you're investing on education or on starting a business, these can both have exceptional ROIs, or return on your investment. So recent studies have shown that in the case of education, folks with a college degree, on average, will earn 80% more than someone who only has a high school diploma. This can account for hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars over your career. And in the case of starting a business obviously takes money, but think about what was the return that Bill Gates received on starting Microsoft? Or how about the return that Elon Musk made on founding Tesla? So when you start a successful business, if it goes well, you can be worth millions, if not billions of dollars. You will earn far more by starting a successful business than you will by investing that same amount of money in stocks or real estate. While a bit more philosophical, I'm also a firm believer that investing in your own physical, emotional, and spiritual well-being is also a great investment. Not only will you likely be more productive and earn more money over your lifetime, but you'll also be happier and more fulfilled. This can include things like a gym membership, organic food, hiring a therapist, getting a massage, or even buying a new mattress. In my book, these are all great ways to spend your money, certainly much better than some of the alternatives, like spending money on eating out, or God forbid, buying bottle service in a nightclub. Come on, man. Are you really that thirsty? Now, I don't want you to get the wrong impression here. I am not saying that you should never spend your money on an expense or on a depreciating asset. Some expenses are unavoidable, like paying your utility bill, and some depreciating assets are also necessary, like having a phone or having a car so that you can go to work or you can go to school. So I'm also a believer here that life is not just about money, okay? Money is simply a tool that should be used to help you reach your financial goals and achieve your true purpose and dreams. I would note that you can't take money with you when you die, and a life without fun or enjoyment is not a life that I would want to live. That being said, you should probably think twice if you're considering buying a luxury expensive vehicle, or worse, you're considering leasing a luxury vehicle when you're still renting a one-bedroom apartment. Likewise, maybe you should consider upgrading your phone one every 2 or 3 or 4 years instead of every year, so that you have some capital left over to begin to invest in the stock market or real estate. So what are the 3 big takeaways from the video today? Well, number 1, please, please, please like, comment, share, subscribe, show this channel some love. These videos are not easy to make, and if you show me some love and the YouTube algorithm some love, it would seriously mean a lot to me. I'm really trying to get to my first 100 subscribers so I can continue producing great free content for the world. Number 2, when you're spending money, you should be thinking about, am I putting it towards a pure expense, or am I putting it towards a depreciating asset or towards an appreciating asset? This will help you make smarter financial decisions. And number 3, as a rule of thumb, you should be trying to put at least 10 to 20% of your total income towards appreciating assets. This is super, super important, and it's the best way to build wealth long term. If you don't think you can afford to put even 5% of your income towards appreciating assets, then I recommend you watch my previous video on the top 5 reasons that you're broke. Now, quick disclaimer, while I am a licensed financial advisor, I'm probably not your financial advisor unless you've hired me, and this video is really for educational purposes only. That being said, thank you very much for watching today. I am taking video requests. I would love to know what you all would like to see in the future, so please leave me a comment below. And remember, if you're smart with your money and you make good decisions, you're on your way to being a smart money millionaire.